Oh, the banner is still up. Ha ha ha. What's going on, everybody? How are we doing
Word
today?
on.
Episode 26. Got Gary here. How you doing, Gary?
Low sick, man. So if I sound a little off in this video, that's why.
Okay. Dom, how you doing, man? Long time no see.
Doing fantabulous, man. Ready to get back onto it. Spitting takes. I can't even think of nothing wrong with that, but I'm ready to get back to it.
Alrighty, alrighty. So we got a nice little show, episode today. Episode 26. Going
Mm-hmm.
26 episodes strong. Go check out the last episode if you ain't see it already. And for people, now we are on Apple. We're gonna work to try and get on Spotify. You could find us on Apple at. Let me make sure this is the right thing. Go to the episode, the I Test Podcast, and the link will be in the description below. And you could go listen to us at work or have you listen to us, watch the episode on YouTube. Soon be on Spotify. Yes, episode 25 is on Apple. I am working to get the other episodes there now. Leave a review. Leave 5 stars. Do what you got to do. But yeah,
Facts.
so
Please.
to start, we have Quentin Grimes. Have you guys been paying attention to Quentin Grimes as of late?
Oh, I've been hearing about him over there making noise in
Same.
Philly. I wouldn't say I always knew he had this in him, but I did know for sure that he was on the better side of role players that we did have in this league. So it's nice to see him doing well in Philly, giving him a little spark.
Yep. How you feel about him, Gary? Matter of fact, Gary, hold your thoughts. Right. So Quentin Grimes, I don't know who's leading in the rankings for most improved. I've seen some people say Cade, see some people say Norman Powell. I don't really know the rankings for that. I don't know how to go about that, but I could see him being a last second one because we still got like a month left. He's been balling for like February and January. Excuse me. And what's funny is he was on Dallas. So Gary, how do you feel about Quentin Grimes going crazy? Oh, Gary, you good?
Giving him a second.
Oh, I think Gary's on mute. Oh, there
Hello.
you go. Yep.
Oh, what was the question?
I said, how do you feel about Quentin Grimes taking off? And he was on Dallas. So how do you feel about him doing what he's doing in Philly right now?
I feel like I personally feel like Nico Harrison is a good.
You hear him, Dom?
Nah, I can't hear the audio cut
Gary, we
out.
can't hear you. Your audio cut out.
I think it might be for the best. All I heard was Nico Harrison is it.
Yeah.
It just clicked
Yeah.
out.
I think something wrong with your mic. You might have to drop out and come back in.
Yeah, it ain't acting right.
Yeah, we can't hear you at all. I don't know what's going on. Hold on. Leave and join back, and we'll see. Dom, go ahead. How you feel about Quentin Grimes taking off like this? And
I feel great, man. I think I think it was I don't remember which draft it was, but I remember watching him like the pre-draft process, and I'm like, man, this guy is a really good 3-and-D guy. I wouldn't mind if the Bucks picked him up. I really don't remember who they picked up that year with the pick that they had. But it's just nice to see him doing well because he was somebody I always liked in the pre-draft process. I usually pick certain guys from drafts and I follow him throughout the years. He was one of them, and it's just nice to see that he has these outbursts. I think he had a few in New York like this. I don't know if they were ever this big like he's doing in Philly or like he had a few good games in Dallas. But I know this type of stuff was kind of like always in him. I think another name that I'll be watching or following, kind of like Quentin Grimes from this year's draft, is going to be Danny Wolf for me. Not to get off topic,
yeah,
but yeah, like to sum it up, it's really just nice to see him do well. I always like this game.
So what I will say is, for people that don't know, since he has joined Philly, he's averaging 21 on 39% from 3, 51% from the field, 5 rebounds, and I think that's 3.8 assists with 1.5 steals.
How many games he got on that one?
17 games. So in 17 games, that's what he's been doing.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep, we can hear you now.
But like, what I was saying was that with Quentin, we like the scoring he's doing right now. Like we could dead use in Dallas since we hurt like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So Nico is a complete idiot for trading him away. Plus, he could have been part of our future. But Nico need to get fired, man. Honestly,
So Quentin Grimes in his last game, he had 46 and 13 rebounds with 4 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. He had 6 turnovers, but they lost. Obviously, he had 28 before that, 29 before that, 35 before that, and 25 before that. So it's been on an absolute tear his last 5 games. Do you guys think he could win Most Improved, or is that already locked, set in stone?
Oh, that ship is sailed for him. It just came a little bit too late in the season, but
yeah.
if he could carry this over into next year, absolutely, yeah.
Okay. So what would that be? 2026. So he'll be a 2026 Most Improved player if he keeps this up.
If he could
Yeah.
keep it up, absolutely, yeah. What did you say? His averages were like 20 a game.
In
Yeah, that's
Philadelphia, because in Dallas he was averaging 10, but now Philly he's averaging 21.
Yeah, if he stays that way for Philly, oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. I seen somebody on Twitter say that Quentin Grimes out of high school was compared to Deron Williams. I don't really know Quentin Grimes out of high school, but if that's the case, then yeah.
I don't remember seeing that much of court vision on his high school tape. I mean, not his high school tape, but his college tape. So that's a real lofty comparison. But if they were following him in high school, I'm pretty sure they saw something I didn't.
Sticking with the Dallas conversation, being that Quentin Grimes is in Dallas, Anthony Davis has now been placed on the G League team for reps. How do you guys feel about this move? Do you guys think they should just let him sit instead of let him try and get reps in the G League? Or Gary, I'll let you go, being that
they need to let him sit because now most likely there's a high chance he could re-injure himself in the G trying to get reps. Be out even longer next season. Like they should just give it up right now for the season because right now we're not going nowhere. We're not being nobody. Like we're not being nobody as hurt as we are. Like we're not making far nowhere in the playoffs.
Yeah,
we have no depth.
Mm-hmm.
Like we need to just give it up and then just focus on next season.
Dom, I'll let you go.
I agree. I personally think they should be shutting it down. I know they won't because they want to sell tickets, and they don't want their season. It's business wise, they're not going to do it mainly because he's such a big draw. But they definitely should shut him down because it really makes no sense if you try him back out there. It's like he's playing for the Pelicans all over again. Before he was able to get any help. So. Yeah, I'm just if you take the business part away from it and you focus purely on like what you need as an organization, I think you would need somebody like him to sit out instead of putting such a huge strain on him when he's already getting older.
Yeah. So how I feel about it is they traded Luka Doncic for a G League player. Are you for real? How are you trading for somebody that's in the G League? Come on, bro. No, I'm playing. I'm trolling. But clip that. Watch people go crazy that I said that. But what's it called? Yeah, I don't see the point of that. Unless they want to make the playoffs, like that's one of their goals. Let's just make the playoffs and see how we do. Because they probably feel like they could beat OKC. They probably think they could do something.
Yeah, they waste everybody's time if they do that.
Yeah, I don't agree. But if that's what they want to do, try and put up a underdog fight. Remember, Klay Thompson said he want to pull off a 2011 Dirk. I think that ship has sailed, buddy. But yeah, Anthony Davis has no business even getting any reps. He should have a gym in his house.
For real.
I don't understand why he needs to get reps. Invite some players over. And like 2K, call your teammates. Pull up to the my court. Feel me? Get some
I know
spots
he
up.
got trainers out the Wazoo. Heck, I think he works with Tatum's trainer, don't he? Drew Hanlon.
And he with Nike, so I mean, he's with Nike in the sense of like Nico Harrison was a rep for Nike, so he got numbers to everybody. And yeah, he might be working with Tatum's what you call him, trainer. Yeah, I don't really know about that side of the spectrum, but moving on again, back to Philly. Paul George out for the season. I'll let Dom. I'll let you go first. I'll speak last on this because I have a lot to say. But go ahead, Dom. How do you feel about Paul George's season, Philly season as a whole, and is it over? Should they trade him?
Ultimately, he has been pretty disappointing. But okay, before I do go into my point, hasn't he dealt with injury like the whole season long?
Let me see. Let me see. Sorry.
Because typically the case with Paul George is he gets injured like early or often, and he just plays through it, and he tries to play through it, and it just doesn't look well. I really think if he takes the time to rehabilitate himself, that he can be a productive player for Philly, but it just might not be the right situation for him. Honestly, and I know I say this for just about any star. I think he probably would, if this is how his production is now, he would probably have an easier time acclimating to Milwaukee than he would Philadelphia. Um, but I don't think that would ever happen.
Never know. Never say never.
That's true. That's true.
I'm gonna
Like
say. I'm a reason why I say never is we're gonna talk about that later on. But go ahead. Continue your point.
I think yeah, you I think you were right at the very beginning of this all when you said that he would have been much better off going to Denver. Um, just because that team literally fell apart, and Paul George went through this with the Clippers, but like I said with AD, he just getting up there in age, man. Like you can, especially when you a star, you can carry a load for so long, but like eventually, the age gonna catch up with you, the workload gonna catch up with you. He's trying to balance all this stuff. He got the podcast. I'm pretty sure he lives a pretty busy life in general. So yeah, it just might not be a good fit with Embiid constantly having to miss games.
Nah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Go ahead, Gary.
I feel like I agree with Dom. If Paul George just take his time, like recoup, come back fully healthy, like we could probably see glimpses of Paul George from the Pacers. Like high scoring, good defense. Like we could probably see that. Like if he actually take his time, get fully healthy, like build some chemistry with his team. Like he could probably do a lot.
Okay. You got something to say, Dom?
I was just gonna say like yeah, I can kind of see that. I mean, I don't think his vision really leaves him. For what it's worth, Paul George actually is a pretty good passer, in my opinion. I don't
Okay.
know if the handle is like as tight as it used. To be honest, I doubt if the handle is as tight as it used to be. It's still pretty good, but I mean, he should absolutely be serviceable for Philly to have that extra ball handler after Maxey and maybe after McCain. Honestly, if he comes back and still plays as good as he does, but it just shouldn't. Like I said, my whole thing is I just don't think it should be his burden to bear once Embiid is out.
Okay.
Well, you can go ahead.
So, Mr. Paul George, what a guy.
His favorite player.
We don't have to get into that right now. All right. Let me say this. You leave the Clippers, right? You wanted more money. They told you they didn't want to pay you that money. And as of right now, with 41 games played, it's looking correct. You went from 22.6 to 16.2. You turned into Tobias Harris overnight. Tobias Harris is in the playoffs, and you are home. About to be at Cancun. How does that look for you? Anybody, like you guys know up here, I said Golden State or Denver. It make no sense to go to Philly. You talking about you want to play with a big and an elite guard. Well, if you go to Philly, Embiid is always hurt. They talking about he might retire early. So then what sense did that make to go to Philly? You tell me. You hurt, he hurt. Now what? Now your bench is full of old people anyway. Kyle Lowry, Eric Gordon, Andre Drummond. That's your bench. Come on.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Speaking of Andre Drummond, he fell off a cliff. Not to interrupt your point.
Kelly Oubre, Jared Butler, O'Shea Brissett. All these, I ain't gonna say all of them is old. Y'all just signed Lonnie Walker, Jalen Hood-Schifino. Y'all best player this season was a rookie, and currently right now is Quentin Grimes. The only bright spot besides Quentin Grimes and Jared McCain is Gershon Yabusele coming over after the Olympics. That was a great pickup for them. He's a great player, and I hope he leaves the team too.
So it'll stay like that?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that might be the system for him, though.
No, bring it. Take out Bobby Portis, put Gershon Yabusele on the Bucks. Y'all doing some things. Feel me? Let me tell you something. The process is over. We processed. The buffering been happening. Error 404. The page cannot load. The process is done, bro. We don't care. Get Embiid out of there. Start over. Paul George, you are a disappointment to me, bro. As somebody who's a fan of yours since before you broke your leg, matter of fact, there's no business. You talking about, I'm going to take a break from the podcast to focus up and try and make the playoffs and make a run for a championship. Nah, bro. That ship sailed when you hyperextended your leg in preseason. From there, it was over. From there, you playing with a whole big brace on your leg, it's over, bro. Sit down, bro. You wasting our time, bro.
Yeah, that's real.
Like, you talking about you look at it. Look at this. You had a groin injury, a knee, now your finger. You got to get injections in your left knee and your left adductor muscle. Yo, bro, sit down, bro. It's over, bro. Leave the team, bro. Go find somewhere else, bro. Denver's fine. They probably not even gonna trade for you now because Michael Porter Jr. is probably having a career. Yeah, they probably we not doing that. You know what I'm saying? You messed up, bro. Now you gotta have like a Reggie Jackson comeback. When Reggie Jackson was playing like trash everywhere else, and then he came to the Clippers and he was balling. You gotta do something like that, bro. But for right now, bro, garbage, bro. I don't know who this ain't Paul George. This is like Paul something else. Paul Jefferson. I don't know who the hell you are, bro. This is ridiculous, bro.
I have no clue like what the treatment options are for an injury like the one he was dealing with, but I hope the injections were the one that gets him right in the long term because this is kind of crazy. But as for what you said with Philly, I think I'm gonna hop on that take bandwagon too. Not take bandwagon. I'm gonna hop on that take wagon. The process has been done probably since that whole Ben Simmons ordeal.
To piggyback off of what you just said, hot take or not, the process ended the day Ben Simmons passed up the dunk. That was when the process ended right there. That run alone.
That was it. Yeah, that was it.
Embiid ain't get y'all to a conference finals. Embiid averaged 34. He averaging all these points, and he cannot get y'all nowhere. Send him off. You know how they do a weekend horse, an old horse? Put him out of his misery, bro. Send him gone. Ship him away, bro. Get him out of there, bro.
It's about that time.
Bro, the process ended when Kawhi hit excuse my language, but like when Kawhi hit that shot.
I would have said that. I thought that, but I was like, nah, they had a decent team after that. And that the 2021, 2 years later, that was their chance. They would have played Milwaukee in the conference finals. And who knows what they could have did. They most likely would have lost, but you know what I'm saying? Well, actually, maybe not because Giannis wasn't playing. It took Chris Middleton to really take them over the hump. You remember Giannis, I think, hyperextended his leg in the game. So let's just say that same ordeal happens. Philly could take 2 games over a Chris Middleton-led Bucks. Now you're in the finals.
Yeah.
But you sure are.
But what's it called? Ben Simmons passes up a dunk. Doc Rivers throws Ben Simmons under the bus. Joel Embiid throws Ben Simmons under the bus. Now Ben Simmons got back issues. He don't want to play for y'all. Now all of a sudden, y'all get James Harden now for Ben Simmons. Daryl Morey don't want to pay James Harden. James Harden is taking y'all to Game 7 against the Celtics in the second round again, where y'all could have went to the conference finals again. And y'all fail. The process is over. Arrow 404. We do not want to keep waiting on this buffering, bro. We restarting the movie, bro. Start from the top. Let like when you're watching the video, how the white thing go far ahead, and you gotta let the video play up to it. We restarting that. We gonna start again, bro.
Hashtag reboot the process. Y'all heard it here
Yeah.
first.
Reboot, unplug, plug back in. Unplug, blow a little bit, and plug back in, bro. Like a PlayStation 2.
Hashtag auto refresh.
Yeah. Press the refresh button again, bro. Like y'all done for. Paul George, get out of there. Maxi, you could stay because you still young. You still got some time to turn it around, bro.
How young we talking? Is he like Anthony Edwards young, or is he like if he
Maxi
like
gotta be around there.
If he like 22, 23, then I think you can probably pair him with McCain depending on how well McCain
But that's
plays.
what I'm saying. Maxi and McCain and them, like Quentin Grimes and them, they could stay there. They young. They don't got nothing to really. Well, Quentin Grimes might be like 26, 27, but they could stay there and put some work in and get the process started again. The process starts again. You know what I'm saying? Because you got a few young players coming in. You got what's the AJ? What's the name? DeBonta, whatever his name is.
Yeah, DeBonta, Dink. No, not Dink. I take he's a second.
There's a few players coming in. There's a few players coming in that you could try and go get. I know Maxi was top 5 in scoring at one point. He was like top 5 in scoring at one point in the season. A couple episodes ago, I was like, I didn't even know he was top 4 in scoring. But I've been bigging up Maxi. Maxi's 24 years old. Feel me?
Yeah, that's still young enough to reboot around him.
Yeah. Give him. But remember, I said he's the best player on the team. I said this when we were doing the best players 25 under 25. I said Maxi is better than what people give him credit for. And y'all saying Joel Embiid, I said no, it's Maxi. Joel Embiid ain't even there, and the team runs when Maxi runs. That's what I said. And I'll pull up the facts again, like I did with the Dallas thing. I know what I'm talking about. They need to reboot the process. When Joel Embiid did that podcast, I forgot who podcast it was. I'm gonna find it. He talking about against the Knicks last year in the playoffs. He couldn't even jump.
That was when he had the whole eye issue too, right?
Yep. He said he couldn't jump. He couldn't do nothing, and they forced him to come back. Philly need to be under investigation for human trafficking, or whatever they for something. Because I don't know. Well, excuse my misuse of the word human trafficking. They need to be under investigation for slave work. Because there's no reason they forcing Joel Embiid to come back. Every little sense, they let him run. His big toe could move better. He's running again. They put him in full-on games. Joel Embiid should have been out since 2023. He shouldn't have played last year. He shouldn't have played this year. He should be out until next year. Why? Because in 2023, no, the year he was leading the MVP, I think it was last year, when he actually was wilding. He had like 34. He was hurt. He played against the Warriors, and his leg got messed up even worse. He then comes back against the Knicks. He puts on a great effort, and he's hurt again. He then allow him to go play in the damn Olympics when everybody was coming at Kawhi for them taking him out, saying, "Oh damn, Kawhi always hurt." Blah 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 blah. They don't want him in the Olympics. Yada yada. Look at what the Clippers is doing now. Look at what Kawhi did to the top team in the NBA yesterday. He dropped 33 on them in a masterclass game, bro. Go watch that game, Clippers versus Cleveland, March 18, 2025. That was a great game from Kawhi Leonard. They go let Joel Embiid fake his visa. He don't got no damn business being an American, bro. And they let him go, come on here and talk about, I'm American, man, waving a damn flag to go win a gold medal, knowing that he would never get a chance to do that in Cameroon. He's a fake. He's a sucker, bro. There's no reason they allowed him to do that. They should have let Joel Embiid sit on the damn bench, go sit over there, go rehab. But no, now this season start, he can't play. He never playing in back-to-backs for the rest of his career. He ain't never doing this. He got this injury, that injury. Now they're talking about breaking a bone in his hip to straighten out, align his legs. He's going to be on a cane in the next 10 years. He's going to be on a cane limping.
Yeah, that ain't it.
He's going to be the new age Kenny Smith, walking with a bop in his leg.
Now let me ask y'all something. If Philly decides they do want to pick up the phone for calls on Embiid next year, where would y'all like to see him go? Do you think there's anybody that would actually put an offer out for Embiid despite the injury?
Hot take. Send him to Phoenix. If y'all keeping D-Book, because Gary said something about D-Book. If you keep D-Book, get KD out of there, get Beal out of there, maybe get Beal out of there too. He's holding the team hostage. He got the team at gunpoint.
He changed up the whole trade deadline.
He got the team on gunpoint. if you get yourself a Joel Embiid to play next to a Devin Booker, because remember what Devin Booker did with DeAndre Ayton. You put Devin Booker and Joel Embiid together, they might go back to the finals. If you get the right pieces. You trade. Let me look at a team. Hold on.
You know, Phoenix has a track record of nursing like injured a lot of injured players back to health.
Boy, Phoenix is one of them places, bro.
So that I could see that working for them, but I wonder what
they just got to get rid of Budenholzer. No offense.
You think KD would want to stay in Philadelphia, or would he request him to move?
No, I'm saying just get KD out of there. Period. Get KD back. Bring in some new young pieces. If you could get Beal out of there for some trade assets, get you like a bunch of, because you know at this point, if you trade an Embiid, you want to rebuild anyway, unless you really feel like you could contend with Maxey. You probably trade Beal to pair him with Maxey. Now you got Beal and Maxey together. You got you trade Paul George probably to Phoenix with Embiid. No, that's a big ass contract. Excuse me, that's a lot of money. You trade Bol out of there. Get Bol, go send him to Philly. You saying I'm trying to look for their roster, but it's not showing me the actual roster. Hold on. You get Tyus Jones up out of there. There's a lot of players you could get up out of here. Hold on. Make it like a 3-team deal because I'm hearing they might trade KD to Houston. Excuse me, to Dallas, maybe back to Golden State. I'm hearing a lot of rumblings about KD leaving because you know him and Budenholzer don't get along, and maybe Phoenix might say KD, you old anyway. We gonna keep Budenholzer. You never know.
Houston might be benefiting more if they just run it back though. I don't know why if they should really give up anybody like that.
Hold on. Yeah, I don't think they'll trade for KD because they got their core. They got their core already, so I don't think they should do that. This is what
KD. If you ever watch this, come to Dallas with Kyrie.
All right, here we go. So you got Mason Plumlee. Get him out of there. Pack him up. Pack up Tyus Jones. Pack up Grayson Allen. Pack up Monte Morris. Pack up Bol. Pack up Damian Lee. Pack up Cody Martin. That's about, 8 players I said? I probably miscounted. It's about 8 players I said that you could trade to get a Joel Embiid and a Paul George over there with Devin. Well, no, Devin Booker and Paul George don't like each other. Damn. Huh.
Grayson Allen is going to be a big piece because I think he still shoots about 40% from 3.
You get Joel Embiid out of there, right? For like a bowl. You got to make the money match. Because you know, Joel Embiid get paid a lot. Royce O'Neal, pack him up. Tyus Jones, pack him up. Mason Plumlee, pack him up. And Bol. That's 4 players already. And you probably give Philly like 2 picks. Give Philly 2 picks. And then remember, this is if you keep in Joel Embiid. Maybe you could get Bradley Beal to go to Philly. I don't know. Maybe he want to be back on the East Coast. He said he liked Phoenix, but maybe you could convince him to say, "Yo, go back over there in the East and go work over there, bro." Because right now we really trying to do something over here, and you not a part of our vision. Either we sit you down and we not playing you, and you just sit there and collect a check, or something. But something got to give, bro. Something got to give. And you bring in Joel Embiid. Remember, he might not play next year. So you give him 2 years off and bring him back 2 years later with Bradley Beal, and maybe somebody else comes to Phoenix. That's a dangerous team for probably a year or 2 before Joel Embiid has to hang it up. Because how old is Embiid right now? Like 34?
I believe he's like 32, 31, 32.
So if Joel Embiid right now is the age of 31, you bring him back in 2 years, he's 33, right? 33 is not a bad age. If you're fully rested, come back, you're good, right? Let Embiid drop some weight. You know what I'm saying? Tell him you don't need to be that heavy no more. Drop some weight, bro. You know what I'm saying? Leave all the foo and the goosey soup and all that stuff. Leave that alone, bro. The jollof rice, whatever they eat in Cameroon, leave that alone. We need you eating lettuce, greens, beans, tomatoes, potatoes, everything. All that. Lose weight, bro. And then you cooking over there in Phoenix. But let me look at the NBA teams again. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on, because where else? He might work in Indiana. He might.
I think Indiana plays at a pace that's too fast for him. Indiana want to constantly be on go. And if he drops weight, it may be manageable, but I don't think he's gonna be able to run up and down and still be able to play defense with them boys. That's why Miles Turner works so well for them because he's more mobile.
Or Atlanta, send him to Atlanta. Risha Shade's really good.
I was about to
Dyson
say that
Daniels
too.
really good. Trae Young could feed him the ball and still give you 30. It's not like he got to fight for the ball because Trae Young be feeding the replace Capella with Joel Embiid. Oh yeah, Atlanta's in a dogfight. Not even in a dogfight. They're in the run-ins. I would say they're a contender, but they one of the top 5 seeds with Joel Embiid.
Trae
Joel
Young
Embiid. Go ahead.
he didn't took worse to the Eastern Conference Finals, I believe. So you give him Embiid, that might be a little contender right there with that. I know we
Trae
said
Young,
pick and rolls to Giannis might be crazy, but that might be crazier.
Trae Young, Joel Embiid, Jalen Johnson, Dyson Daniels, Risa Shea. Who else they got over there? They got a lot of good pieces in Atlanta. I like Atlanta. I like Atlanta, but I don't know what they got going on right now. They the 7th seed?
I feel like if they do trade for Embiid, that they would have to come off of Dyson Daniels. Not Dyson Daniels. They would have to come off of Jalen Johnson. Most definitely. They go on him like bad.
But that's the thing. He coming off an injury too, so we don't know how he looks. So that might be a saving grace.
That's true.
If he's injured, we don't want to trade an injured player. But you could trade Onyeka Okongwu. You could trade Clint Capella because Onyeka Okongwu is very good.
He is. I call him the Giannis stopper. Like he's the only person I know that can actually defend him 1-on-1.
You got Terrence Mann over there. You got Karis LeVert over. Damn, they got a lot of teams. They got Garrison Matthews. He's a shooter. They got a lot of good pieces. Larry Nance, you could take. You could take Niang. I don't know if you really want Niang, but Keaton Wallace is a very good piece. There's a lot of places you could go before you get to Jalen Johnson. Throw everything, pick up Embiid, and Atlanta is the hood mecca. The black mecca, I should say. Not hood. Sorry, let me take that back. People want to be in Atlanta, bro. Let's not act like they don't got Lil Baby. They got Gunna. They got Playboy Cardi. I Am Music. Shout out that. You got Future. You got a lot of stuff going on in Atlanta right now.
It's a good city for sure.
So it's not like they're gonna be fighting to sell tickets. Tickets is gonna go up. You got Quavo and them at courtside all the time. Feel me? Boom. The one place I will say before I let you go, Gary, because I've been talking for dumb long, do not send him to New Orleans. He will be cursed and he will be retired in a year. They will curse that man in New Orleans so fast. And we're going to get to that why. We're going to get to that in a second, so I'm not going to say why. Gary, you can go now. I'm giving you the floor.
All about the what? The Paul George thing or Embiid?
No. Dom's question was... Dom, I'll let you repeat the question. Go ahead.
I said, so if teams do pick up the phone or Philadelphia do decide they want to pick up the phone this offseason for Embiid, where would you like to see him? And do you think that people will still trade for him given his injury? Given his injury?
I didn't answer that question. Yes, they will still trade for him. Go ahead.
I feel like people still trade for him.
Oh wait, Gary, sorry to cut you off. And the reason why I say yes, they'll still trade for him is because he's damaged goods. So people will be willing to give up less for him, which would obviously make Philly look bad. So they have to get rid of him. Period. Go ahead, Gary.
Yeah, like exactly what he said. Like I feel like people still trade for him, but people still want, people will want less for Embiid because he is injured and he has a history of injury. But some places, some teams I can see him going to is definitely Atlanta because how they play, Embiid fits that style good. Because Atlanta and Philly almost play the same, so that could work. Another team I can see him in. Yeesh. That's a slow-paced team. I can see him beat on the Rockets.
I can see him in Portland too.
I can see him beat on the Rockets and Portland because of his play style. You surround B you surround the B with shooters, then he could work.
Okay.
He's gonna get his buckets.
Facts. So let me ask you this, Gary, because I don't think Dom is here right now. Are the Lakers, I wouldn't say dumb enough, but are they crazy and bold enough to trade for Joel Embiid? The Lakers?
No.
They're not. Okay.
because for them,
to pair him with Luka for LeBron's departure. That's what I should have said. I should have continued the sentence.
Like for them to get Embiid, because like they don't have like
Hold up.
because like their main assets is what Luka, Austin Reeves, Connect, Vanderbilt, and what Hachimura. Like
Yeah.
other than those 5 people, like after LeBron retired, like they're not like they're not gonna be willing to give up one of those people to get Embiid.
Okay.
So for them, so for them to be they would have to be crazy enough to give. Obviously Luka's untouchable, Austin Reeves untouchable. It's just Connect, Vanderbilt, and Hachimura.
Oh,
Like they have to give up one of those 3 players.
Well, they already said that they might revisit the Hornets trade for Mark Williams. That's the only reason I asked that. And Dom, I don't know if you heard my question before you give your opinion, and I don't know if Gary's finished, but what I said was, are the Lakers bold or crazy enough to trade for Joel Embiid to pair him with Luka? That was the question. You could think about it. Gary, you could continue.
Yeah, I say no because they might not be willing to give up one of the main assets. But that's really it. Dom, you could go if you're ready.
It's a yes or no for me. Are the Lakers bold enough to do a trade like that? No, but will they I think they'll absolutely execute it, kind of like the Mavericks trade if they know they can kind of get away with robbery in a sense. Like if Philly comes to them and be like, hey, you can have all we want is just like some
Embiid for Jackson Hayes, they said yes to that.
Probably not even. They will say like, hey, we'll give you
Jackson Hayes will be included in that though.
Yeah, can we have like Austin Reeves and like
no.
a few picks?
They're saying
you don't want to give up Austin Reeves. You don't have to, but you don't want to.
They're saying no.
But that all hinges on how good Austin
robbery.
It's gonna have to be. It's gonna have to be Rui, Dalton, and probably Jackson Hayes and somebody else.
Which makes sense. Yeah, and then probably your picks. Probably your picks then too.
Remember, Philly's trying to get younger. If this happens, this would be like they're not trying to trade for old vets. Like Eric Gordon might be released this offseason, might retire, call it quits right then and there. But yeah, to answer your own question, Dom, where do you think Embiid is going to get? If he is traded, where would he go, and is he tradable to you? Or if that's your question, I think that's your question.
Like you said, I like Phoenix for him. I like Atlanta, Charlotte.
That's that. They low key they the Eastern Conference New Orleans, bro. They get injured crazy over there. LaMelo always hurt. Brandon Miller broke his hand. Grant Williams tore his Achilles or his ACL early in the season.
They get bit by that bug a lot. I don't think maybe Charlotte might be the best place for them either. Because I don't know if that's a medical team issue or what myself. Let's see. Honestly, I could maybe see it if
Portland maybe, but they might.
That's what I was just gonna say. If Portland decides that they want to move on from DeAndre Ayton, then I could definitely see that, because then Philly gets younger, they get Ayton, who probably can still have some upside to him, and Portland gets Embiid, makes him a bona fide playoff contender, and maybe Scoot takes a leap, learns and actually plays well in that guard role, or heck, maybe even Detroit, if they.
I thought about that. Do you trade Duren?
Detroit.
You don't trade Stewart. Stewart is more valuable than Duren. I know that's crazy to say, but Isaiah Stewart is more valuable to the Pistons than Jalen Duren.
Because that's the biggest thing. You don't want your team to lose toughness. Because that's
the enforcer.
I know what it looks like for a team to just get punked on a regular basis. So you don't ever want to get that up. That's why I like PJ going to the Knicks for the time that he did. Hopefully they throw the full contract at him. But yeah, I think Detroit will be a good home for him as well. Because I could see that working pretty good. Now that's unguardable too.
Yeah. So, speaking of New Orleans, when I said that they should not trade him there, they're cursed. Why are they cursed? Because now, down injury lane, Trey Murphy is out for the season. Trey Murphy on the year. Let me pull up something on Trey Murphy. Trey Murphy the third to be exact. He this year, I don't know if it was a career season. I don't think it was a career. Yeah, it was a career season actually. 21 points. He had 20. He averaged 21 points, 5 rebounds, 3.5 assists with a steal. 24 years old. I forgot his exact injury. I think it's like a torn labrum. Torn labrum. I think it's a torn labrum.
Shoulder injury, right?
Yeah, and he's out for the season. He was having a great year. There was a stretch of the season where he was bugging. He had like 40, 30, I think a 28-point game. He was doing very well at one point in the season. Yep. He was diagnosed with a torn labrum and a partial tear of his rotator cuff in his right shoulder and will miss the remainder of the season.
Wow.
Dom, what are your thoughts on Trey Murphy this year and his growth, and where do you see him going from here?
I think, especially on like our off the camera conversations, y'all know I've always been big on Trey Murphy. I always would talk. Well, for me, I don't think I always talked about this, but I loved his ability, like his catch and shoot, because he was like,
I like
he's
his
like,
jumper.
yeah, I like his jumper, but like when I talk about his catch and shoot, I mean this dude like, he spots up deep. Like he kind of like a Dame or Curry will, not necessarily from their range constantly, but he will spot up deep and help stretch the floor for everybody else. So yeah, good defender on top of that. Yeah, it's just a shame, man. Like they really can't, like it just sucks to see so many players getting bit by the injury bug. I'm not sure if that's a result of the in-season tournament games or what, but yeah, it's just getting bad, man. Like this is probably one of the craziest seasons I remember. Like it's like once a week I open my phone to some tweet by Shams telling me somebody else is out for the season.
Yeah,
and it should be like that. And
remember, Murray got hurt twice this year. He broke his hand to start, and then he tore his ACL when he came back. Zion been hurt. He not playing back-to-backs this year. Ingram got hurt before he left. Who else was hurt? I think Alvarado was hurt at one point. I think who else was hurt over there? Herb Jones was hurt at one point. Where do the Pelicans go from here? I think CJ's hurt too. I could be wrong. But Gary, you could give I don't know if you paid attention this year, but what are your thoughts on Trey Murphy this year, and where do you think he goes from here? Like, or do you think the Pelicans move him? Do you think he stays? Does he come back better? He has a torn labrum and a partial tear in his rotator cuff.
Yeesh. I feel like when he come back, he gonna struggle a little bit, but like he don't get it together. Like my time frame from him is like till before the trade deadline. Like he starts to pick it up again, like coming back from injury. Because like he definitely gonna struggle for a good minute.
Yeah.
But the starting of him, if he's safe, yeesh, I don't know, because Portland trying to rebuild, but right now, like they're not a desired destination to go because they get injured a lot. I feel like he stays. No, I feel like he gonna test free agency. Like, and when he tests free agency, like he might see what other teams are saying, and then make a decision after that. But regarding him staying or not, I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
I don't. I really like to answer your second question. I really think New Orleans should blow it up, but it's like if you blow it up, it just doesn't seem like the luck gets any better. I mean, it just keeps happening no matter who they have in there. They dealt with the same stuff when they had AD. They got Zion and started dealing with it all over again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Supposed to be one of them teams, man.
Yeah, they sure were, especially when they got CJ.
They need to blow it up, not Like they didn't blow it up. Like not regarding just trading players, but blow up everything, the whole staff. They need to
I
bring
thought
a
about
whole
it. Crazy question, but they didn't always have a team. Does New Orleans get rid of their team, their basketball team?
No, I just think maybe they
Excuse me.
try building around a league guard. That's what I think. But
Or my
whatever.
question should be, should they move the team? That's what I should say.
yes,
I
100%.
think they should keep it in New Orleans. I think New Orleans
No,
deserves a basketball team.
they
They
definitely
used to have
should.
the Jazz, but
Okay.
yeah, I don't see them not having one. They have the Saints, and I know football gonna be the number one baby because they football team sees more success than the basketball team on a regular basis. But and that's kind of how it was here in Milwaukee for Green Bay for the longest. But you just gotta keep them in there, keep investing with them, and they eventually it'll come back around for them. So I
Okay.
think they should keep their team.
First of all, pause. Right, Z. Right. Search up
Mm.
right now since you have your computer. How long has New Orleans had their team for like how many years?
Had to be
How
since 2000s.
long has New Orleans? How long has New Orleans had a basketball? Oh no, NBA team. NBA team since 2002.
Okay, since 2002.
About
So
3 years.
like 22 years basically. Because no, 24.
No, that's 23.
Like 23 years they had a team, and they haven't gone damn near anywhere basically.
It takes a while.
Like, don't be
Hell,
wrong. Like it takes a minute. Yes, it takes a minute. Yes, it takes a minute. Yes. But personally, bro, I feel like they should just move it out of New Orleans into a different. Like, if you want to move it, like, like, if you want to move it like a couple miles away from New Orleans to keep the name, okay, whatever. But you got like I feel like at this point, like you need a change of scenery because it's just the same things happening over and
Excuse me.
over again.
I
Like
do think though, not to cut you off, if the Pelicans were to move to the Eastern Conference, they'll probably see more success.
100%,
Not to diss
100%.
the
But
East, not to diss the East, but it's definitely the easier
it
easier
definitely is
conference
easy on DJ conference. But
because they try to add Vegas, they trying to bring back Seattle. So if you push two teams like Memphis and the Pelicans to the East, now you got some moves over there. I think Dom is having some trouble, but the next topic is, let me see, how far. Well, matter of fact, let's start like this. Speaking of a team we brought up earlier in the EMBIID situation, the Portland Trailblazers. They currently sit at the 12th seed, 30 and 39. They're on a 2-game win streak. I said the 12th seed already, yeah. How far are they from becoming a playoff team?
they're not
Obviously,
that far away.
yeah.
They're not that
What
far.
do you
I
think
feel like
they need to do?
I feel like they need one more piece. I
One
feel
more? That's it.
like honestly, like I feel like they need to finally come up with finally make a decision if they're gonna keep Simons at the 1 or the 2, then move Scoot up to the 1, have Simon play the 2, or like have Scoot play the 2, Simon play the 1. Like they need to finally come they need to finally make that decision if they're gonna do that, if they're gonna keep Aiton. But other than
Yeah.
that, I feel like they just need a couple more pieces, like 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 a couple more bench pieces, and
Yeah.
so that they can make a solid run in the playoffs.
Okay. So the Portland Trailblazers are 3 games behind the Dallas Mavericks. If Dallas tanks and so does Phoenix, they could potentially make the play-in. Will
Yeah.
they go? Will they beat this? Will they beat Sacramento in the play-in to make the 9 seed or whatever seed it is to beat the Clippers or the Timberwolves? I doubt it. But I do agree they are. I would say they are a few pieces away from making the what you call it, making the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? In a packed Western Conference, I do think they are. Let me see. They need a small forward. Oh no, actually, Denny Advia is actually really good. Let me not say that. Uh,
Well,
you
like a
got Denny
backup.
Advia. Yeah, backup small forward. They need a. Oh, they have two bigs actually. Hold on. They actually might be straight. They might just need development really, because they got the two guards. They got Scoot and Simons. They got a forward. They got probably about three forwards. Four forwards actually. You got Tamani Kamara, who's actually a very good defender. You got Chris Murray. You got Matisse Thybulle. You got Denny Advia. You got Delano Banton. And then in the guard spot, you got Shaden Sharp. So you might just need a backup big. But then in the bigs, you got DeAndre Ayton, Robert Williams III, and Donovan Clingan. So you looking pretty. You look this the future's looking pretty bright for them. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
They just need to make they need to make sound decisions. Like they need to know exactly where people's playing, what they're doing, like how many minutes they're getting.
Yeah, like they
Like
actually.
they just all over the place.
Yeah, I think I do think. Speaking of Scoot, because he is averaging 12. Well, I'll say 13, 3, and 5 on the season. His last game against Washington, he had 11. Then against Toronto, he had 5. And then he had 30 against New York, the Knicks, obviously. 12 against Golden State and 15 against Detroit. So I think Scoot's main issue is
Consistency.
consistency. He being a top 3 pick, I see it's hard to be a guard in the NBA. It's hard to be a guard in the NBA. Yeah. Welcome back. And he just needs more development. His coach being Chauncey Billups, he definitely has a long way to go, and he's definitely looking up on the bright side. Dom, we are up to how far is Portland away from being a playoff team again? Right now, I'm speaking on Scoot's inconsistencies because about 2 games ago he had 30. He's averaging 13, which is lower than last year. Last year he played 62 games. He only averaged 14 points. This year he's averaging 13. Well, 12.8, but we round up over here, so 13. Do they trade Simons? Do they keep Simons? Simons is averaging 20 on the season. He's 25. He's the only real consistent bucket getter over there. Feel me? So like, what's next for Portland? What do you think they should do though?
If you don't trade Simons, that'd be really silly. I mean, I think they could really get a lot back, especially if you give Simons to a team like Orlando.
Aaron that a lot.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. They'll definitely be in the market for him. He can give them a huge scoring punch. That's his hometown. So I'm sure he'd love it there. It'd be good. It'd be mutually beneficial for both teams because Orlando is right on the cusp. They can get a little decent pick back from that. Not only would Orlando fit, he could also be a really, really good backup guard for a lot of places if he doesn't become a lead guard in a place like Orlando. Maybe a place like Toronto could also use Simons. Personally, as a playoff team, they're far away. And like you said, speaking about Scoot's inconsistencies, I don't like the fact that Chauncey Billups kind of like has him on a little yo-yo string, and it's like, okay, you start. All right, now you don't. Now you start. Now you don't. You know what I'm saying? I just think, you put him in that spot, you let him play through the mistakes, and you let him fail. That's the only way he can keep his confidence going and actually learn consistently from mistakes. But not to get off topic, but you know, as a playoff team, or as a team trying to trying to build itself back in the playoff form. I think they're a few seasons off. Probably peg maybe like 2 seasons away. 2 seasons away. One for Donovan Clingan to get some actual consistent to get a good year under his belt under heavy minutes, and then another for him to actually maybe start and bulk up, be able to defend the good bigs of the NBA. But I actually feel like a team that we as the entire basketball community don't talk about as much are the Wizards. I really think they are getting closer to playoff contention, more so than any of the other rebuilding teams that we have right about now.
Is Portland still rebuilding though?
Oh yeah. I would say they're probably about 2 seasons, like I said, 2-3 seasons away from like being out of that phase.
Only reason why I asked that is because you disconnected, but they are 2 games away from the 10 spot, or 3 games away from the 10 spot in the play-in. They would have to play Sacramento in the first round, or the play-in. Then probably have to play either the Minnesota Timberwolves or the Clippers. Not saying that any of those are definite wins. Like, not saying they could beat. Well, in the Western Conference, anybody could beat anybody at this point. You know what I'm saying? But they're right there to making the play-in. So, like you said, maybe a few years, maybe next year they make the playoffs. Maybe they have a Houston Rockets type of jump because their players are really good. Like,
yeah,
I caught
for sure.
part of the game yesterday. Tamani Kamara is a very good defensive player.
Oh yeah.
You got Danny Advia carrying the load. Then you got Simons over there. Scoot, I guess, when he's consistent, you know what I'm saying? Clingan just needs to get better rebounding and stuff like that. But they're right there.
They have great wings. Delano
Banton. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, shout out Avdia. He's been playing great for them. They got Jeremy Grant. But I think Aiden has actually been really, really good when he not to be that guy, but when he locks in, man, his defense is like on almost, I wouldn't say Giannis level, but he's a lot more mobile than he gives. When he actually puts in that effort, oh my goodness, it's like watching a totally different player, and that's why I kind of see where all the draft stuff comes into play at, is that if this dude just like consistently had a reason to be on go every single game, we probably would be saying he was like one of the top bigs in the game right now.
Yeah, I mean, DeAndre Ayton was a number 1 pick for a reason.
Yeah, he sure was. And every now and then
went to the finals. Excuse me. He definitely been to the finals. He's been around the block. Saying he's definitely been there. So, you know what I'm saying? It's not like he plays like a scrub. He's been playing like a scrub for a few years, but he's always consistently gave you above he's averaging the same amount as his third year because he averaged 14 that year, but he's been giving you 16, 18, 17 points a game majority of his career. So he's a better rebounder now, I believe, or a decent rebounder, I guess. He's a very good player to me. I wanted him in Minnesota. I said if y'all trade in Rudy, get DeAndre Ayton.
He would fit the mold better. He sure would.
You know what I'm saying? Because Rudy does bring a lot, but sometimes you just need a little bit on the offensive side that will give you help. Because it's not like Ayton cannot defend.
You think Robert Williams will give you more than Gobert?
Offensively, yes. Defensively, it's a little bit less because Time Lord is more injury prone. So he might not be in the lineup as much, which will kind of hurt us if we have Nas replaying the 5.
Wait, so what's some things you think Robert Williams does better than Gobert on offense? Because I can't see that vision. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I think he can catch the ball better. That's one. I definitely think he is a better. He could do more with the ball in his hands. Not saying he could create his own shot, but if you give him the ball, you know he's going to catch it. As opposed to Rudy, you passing the ball, he's fumbling the ball. Rudy can score, right? But Rudy's more of a lob threat, and I think Time Lord is more of on the same level. It's just his catching, and he doesn't play like he has 2 left feet, is why I would prefer Robert Williams III.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because you give Rudy the ball, he looks like he has no sense of direction. Now, to be fair, Robert Williams doesn't rebound like Rudy, but then again, he probably doesn't get the same amount of minutes. And then, I'm not saying he's better. Like, I'm not saying he's a better player than Rudy. I just feel like from what I've seen him do in Boston, he was a very impactful player in Boston.
He was. I'll give him that. He struggled, and I'm not gonna really knock him because it's a lot of, to me, like, and I think this might be a little unfair at times, but some, like, when it comes to defensive bigs, I kind of view how I view them how I view their defense is kind of like how I, basically in layman's terms, when I watch them play the Bucks and I see how they play, specifically Giannis, how if they're able to alter his shots, if they're able to block them, I think that factors into me, like, okay, I need this person on my team because then I know if he can stop this big, if he can stop this elite finisher, he can hang with any of the other bigs. Robert Williams, I didn't necessarily see that from him.
He's like a free safety. You need to put pieces around him, which is why I say in Minnesota, you got the pieces around him to where, like, Julius Randle could come over and also help. You got Ant, who's playing good on the perimeter. Mike Conley, at this point, he's not the same, but he can still defend a little bit on the perimeter. Dante's a very good player on the perimeter. You got a lot of good defensive Jaden McDaniels. Sorry, how could I forget about him on the perimeter? That, you know what I'm saying? So Minnesota has a lot of pieces that would help Time Lord fit well over there. And on offense, you got some players like Rob Dillingham, Bones Highland that will probably fit him into the offense. I mean, they don't play, but if they do play, they'll get him into the offense. So speaking of Giannis, we just talk about this because that was probably most people probably saw the game yesterday, Tuesday, March 18th. Yesterday, the Golden State Warriors played the Bucks, and speaking of Giannis, he had a horrific game. In my humble opinion, it was horrific. Like we said, this is called the eye test. So with my eyes, it was a horrible game. Not only from Giannis, but from Damian Lillard too. But we're going to speak on Giannis. Why? Giannis, his matchup was Draymond Green. We already know Draymond. Defensive Player of the Year. Yeah. We know his background. We know his resume. Giannis has about a good few feet over Draymond. Right? He might be a little stronger. I don't want to say he's completely stronger than Draymond because they're both grown men. So we're not going to try and play the strength game with that. But Giannis, from what I've seen yesterday, definitely, he played like, you ever played Hall of Fame on 2K and you just try to do something and it makes you do something else? Like, you try to take a floater, but it made you go all the way to the rim and you took a bad layup. From what I've seen yesterday, Giannis repeatedly kept doing the bad layup or the bad floater. And where I come into this point, before I let you go down and speak on what you've seen from the game, because you're our resident Bucks guy here at the Eye Test podcast. Giannis, when his offense isn't going, aka getting to the rim, he looks unplayable. It looks very uncomfortable because he doesn't do anything. He might rebound a little bit here and there. He might get you to the free throw line, but he's also decent there. He's not like he's not guaranteed to get you a free throw, if you know what I'm saying. Like, he's not shooting 80%, 85% from the free throw line. So why we all said that Giannis got better at shooting the mid-range, which I didn't see him take one mid-range yesterday. What? Maybe just me. I forgot the comparison I had in my head. But Giannis on offense, when his offense isn't going, he looks unplayable for Milwaukee because their half-court offense is horrible. You got Brook Lopez taking one-legged fadeaways. You got Gary Trent taking sidestep heroic threes. Dame doing punch dribble threes. It just looks bad. Gary, I don't know if you've seen the game yesterday, but that's kind of what we're talking about.
No, I didn't. I was at work.
Dom, from what you've seen yesterday, what do you think the Bucks' main issue is?
Yeah, it's exactly that. It's just like an over-reliance on the big two. back when we did have like Holiday and a championship team, it was kind of easier for it to be like a more connected like team effort. Once, like you said, once things go wrong for them now, that's when everybody just scrambles and fights for themselves. When it shouldn't really necessarily have to be like that. Giannis, a lot of times, like you said, he will absolutely on a game where he's trying to impose himself, like he will force the issue so much, like absolutely kill the ball movement. Um, and people argue me down with this. They'll be like, "No, man, it's Dame. It's the Dame's not hitting any shots, or Torian's not hitting any shots. Gary's not hitting any
Both.
shots. Why would he pass the ball? You just gotta keep throwing it. Maybe eventually one of them will catch fire, man. Like you can't you cannot will yourself almost every single. There's gonna be one or two times for a player as great as him where you just get a night like that, and then
Right.
that's when you have to let everybody else be great and help them be great, and not
Yep.
just try to go get your own. So that
Yep.
that's
Nah, that's
that's
a
that's their big issue, man. They just gotta actually play like a team that trusts each other again, because that's not how they do, man. It's really not. They just all start fighting for themselves once they struggle.
So I'll keep it real. Your question earlier that was not recorded. You can ask that. You can say it again. But what I would like to say, I feel like games like this show the difference between Giannis this season and Jokic and Shea. Like you see how they're like the two in the conversation, and Giannis kind of fell out of that, also mainly because of injury. But games like that, you we've seen Jokic get clamped up. We've seen Shea get clamped up, but we've never seen them look unplayable. Like you said, forcing the issue, killing their team's momentum. 9 out of 10, they just can't hit a shot, but they're still doing other things on the offensive side of the court to help. Do you guys feel like there's a gap now between Jokic, Shea, and Giannis?
I mean, I might be biased, but I still personally don't feel that way, because I know he can still be impactful. The problem is his mental gets in his own way, and that's from what I see watching these games, is that he's too seasoned to be making these mistakes, or these decisions that he should know better to not do. And I guess that's where people would say, okay, well, Jokic wouldn't do that, Shea wouldn't do that, but that I've seen games where he struggles offensive, like from his own offensive standpoint, but he's still able to do everything else. He gives you rebounds, and he assists, and set screens and gets others open. But that game just was not present, because everybody started fending for self, instead of, especially him, instead of just trying to help the next man be great.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he to sum it up again, he's still up there. He's still right there. He just needs to free his mind in that capacity for him to be right, to be consistently right there again.
Okay. Uh. Yeah. So your question earlier was, what did you say about the Bucks? It was while we was playing 2K. You had asked a question. I
oh
forgot.
the Buck is the Bucks potential like that. It would like it was something about the Bucks potential being able to make it to the finals this year.
So the question being asked: can the Bucks make the finals this year? That their ceiling?
Yeah.
Okay. For me, as I said earlier, I think their ceiling is the second round, mainly because of what I seen yesterday. If any team watches that game, they pretty much have a blueprint on how to stop Giannis. You kind of anticipate the spot, sit on his right hand, force him to take uncomfortable shots. Obviously, you got Damian Lillard next to him, so you still have to worry about that. But everybody else is a game-to-game basis, in my opinion. You ain't getting consistency out of everybody else on the Bucks besides them two. In my opinion, from when I've watched the Bucks, you might get Gary Trent one game where he gives you 25, and you're like, damn, okay. But the next game he might give you 10. You might get a 25 piece from Kuzma, but then the next game he give you 7. You might get a 25 piece from Brook Lopez at his old age. Then the next game he give you 3 points. You know what I'm saying? So it's very up and down with this team, but you can live with forcing Giannis to be uncomfortable and letting Dame take all the shots.
Yeah.
That's kind of what the Warriors look like they did yesterday, because I didn't see the full game, but I seen the fourth quarter. Did they go to OT? No, they didn't go to. I seen the third and fourth quarter of that game yesterday. That's what it looked like. Force Giannis into uncomfortability. Force him into the unknown. If he goes into a game thinking he's stronger than somebody and they put the physicality back towards him, he looks uncomfortable. And if you just do what you can against Dame, because I'm not going to sit here and say Dame is the best of the best. I'm not gonna say he's still the elite Dame from Portland days. Like, he can still give you a good game, but Dame is a lot more prone to being inconsistent now than he was back then. So if you just force Giannis, because Giannis is the one that you don't want to give you 30. You know what I'm saying? You could live with, this sounds crazy to say, but you could live with Dame going off in a sense. We've seen what the Pacers did last year to the Bucks. To each his own. I know the Bucks was hurt, but Dame was wilding in some games, and they still lost. But this is times where you miss Chris Middleton. In situations like this, when nobody else can get the offense, like a Kuzma, something, you miss a Chris Middleton, somebody that you could give the ball to and say, "Go, just do it, give us something." Kuzma to me is not that player. Kuzma is a player that he's in the flow of the team. If the team is playing good, he's playing good. Granted, he was y'all leading scorer yesterday, but me personally, I think Kuzma is a flow state player. Like, he plays good depending on the flow of the team. Chris Middleton, he can create a flow of the team for himself. We've watched games Chris Middleton take over, a.k.a. Game 6 against the Hawks.
Oh, my
I think
goodness.
he dropped 42 that game. There's games where Chris Middleton can do his thing and take over a game. You cannot get that from Kuzma.
That's a fact.
I don't believe you can either. But the trade-off is that we were able to get quicker defensively. But yeah, that is sorely missed because the offense is just too inconsistent. Like, that's
I was better off trading Bobby Portis for Kuzma.
That's the bottom line.
Chris Middleton. Y'all could have traded Portis for Kuzma and still have Middleton there, because Middleton was a secondary distributor, so Dame could play off the ball. Now y'all don't really have that. And
maybe you could argue that when Bobby Portis comes back, that the scoring issue stops looking as bad. You know what? Last night's game doesn't help too. That we also lost Jericho Sims. That plays.
Oh yeah.
Sims is actually like a really, really good defensive piece for us, but he's gonna be out for a good while. Not to throw any excuses out there. Giannis is terrible, but yeah, Bobby. I can't even say Bobby coming back for sure solves any of those issues as well, because we saw in the championship run, there were straight up series like Brooklyn, for example, where he was completely like taken out of the equation. So
yeah. Now, being that you a Bucks fan, maybe Gary can answer too, depending on his opinion. Does Brook Lopez have information over the owner and the GMs that he's still on this team?
Probably.
I'm being honest. I'm not trying to disrespect nobody, because I live in Brooklyn. For people that don't know, he is the all-time leading scorer for the Brooklyn Nets. I know Brook Lopez back in his day could get you a bucket. We are talking about almost 39, probably 38-year-old Brook Lopez still getting heavy minutes in the NBA. He averages 12.6, I guess, round up over here. We round up over here. 5 rebounds and 1.7 assists. 49% from the field, and all he does is shoot threes. He barely plays down low now. He doesn't bring any value. Like, I know at one point he was a great drop defender. Like, they're playing drop. When he plays drop, he's not as bad as other bigs, but he's slower now. You understand? He's 36. Yeah. 36. You know what I'm saying? And they still giving him heavy minutes. At this point in his career, he should be a backup. Not saying that he's not good enough to play minutes, but there's no reason Brook Lopez is playing 31 minutes on a championship level team anymore. Yeah. When they won the championship, he was only 32, which was decent age. That's a decent age. We're talking about 36 years old. At how tall is he? He's 7'1". He's going to kill y'all, and he takes too many threes. That's all his shots. Out of 9 shots he takes, majority of them are jump shots. Not saying all 3-point jump shots, but some of them are the post
Yeah, for the
fadeaways.
most part, yeah.
He doesn't take anything at the rim anymore. So
And
once again,
that's a huge issue.
and he doesn't get to the free throw line. It's like Giannis and Dame are the only two people that's trying to get to the line for the Bucks. Now I'm going to ask you again because I didn't even let you speak, but does Brook Lopez have information over the Bucks organization? And how do you feel about him playing so many minutes for y'all? Because in the championship run, he only played 27 minutes. He's playing more minutes now than he did back then.
I've been saying probably since the since the year he ended up sitting out for his back issues, which I believe was probably the year after the championship.
Yep. He played 13 games a year.
Yep. So he had to sit. So that season, that was the one where I'm like, yo, the Bucks need to figure out what they're gonna do after Brook Lopez because this ain't looking good. And it's time is ticking and ticking and ticking, and we still ain't done nothing to address that issue. I mean, like I said, I really do appreciate Bobby. I love him. That's not our long-term solution to the center spot. We like the Bucks need to go into the draft or possibly look through trades to figure out who in the heck is going to take up that mantle because this is not a long-term thing, especially not anymore because the dude is just he's I wouldn't say he's completely unplayable against these faster teams, but against a team like the Pacers, like we are not going to be able to keep him on the floor. That's a Jericho Sims series. That's you know what I'm saying? Like we can't do that.
Not to cut you off, I'm gonna let you continue. Last year, even this year, he's on pace to play a lot of games. Last year he played 79 games, so he missed 3 games and he played 30 minutes. The year before that, he played 78 games and he played 30 minutes a game.
Yeah, he don't miss him. That's the one credit I will give Brook Lopez is that when he really, if he can help it, he really won't miss him. But
he's a gladiator.
It's just time, like for them to find that protege.
Take him out back and put him down, bro.
Yeah, or at least send him to Orlando. Send him to Orlando and let him let him live where he loves. To be Disney. Go let him live near Disney World and all that stuff that he loves. Just let him ride into the sunset over there in Orlando. He'll love it there, and they'll probably help us out.
Let me ask y'all another question. If let's just say hypothetically they do make the finals, because that was the question originally, and they play Golden State, they have no sense of the word how to play small ball.
Small ball kills them.
They have no way in hell to play small ball because that's Golden State's game. If the Bucks played the Warriors in the finals, it's a done deal. You can't keep Brook Lopez on the floor. Why? Because he plays drop. You can't play drop against the Warriors. You're going to get torched.
And you know what? I think I've been thinking about this for a while, but Giannis is not the greatest 5. I've seen enough games where they tried to put him at that spot, and I don't know if he's just tired or what, but his awareness at the 5 spot is just for lack of a better term, ass. I'm sorry, viewers. Like that's really what I could think of. Like his rotations are always late when they put him at the 5 spot. He jumps late. I mean, the rebounds are still cool, but it's just like the stuff that you would need, the stuff that we would need from someone like Brook Lopez or Bobby. He just is always late on, and like it's crazy that they do a better job of playing the 5 spot than him. Like I like legit. I think he's like more 1 through 4 than he is 1 through 5.
Okay, Gary, do you have any thoughts on Brook Lopez still playing for the Bucks at this point?
You said what?
Do you have any thoughts on Brook Lopez still playing this many minutes, this much for the Bucks at this point in time in his career?
I feel like he shouldn't because I feel like he's not the player he used to be. He's on the Nets, like he's not as fast, not as strong, basically. But the more he ages, like the more his skill set goes away. Besides the shooting, and that's why he's taking so many threes. I feel like Brook Lopez is just play out this last year and like play out the remainder of the games he have this year and playoffs, and then like off season really think about like retiring or not. Because honestly, bro, like I think Brook Lopez gonna be not first ballot the Hall of Fame, but he gonna be somewhat in the Hall of Fame basically because he is all time leader for the Nets.
Got a ring.
He has a ring.
The All-Star.
He has some All-Star appearances, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Like he has some he should have some all defensive NBA teams.
He might have. Yeah, he was 2-time All Defensive, but he was never All NBA. Like just All NBA.
So
He came second in DPOY 2 years ago. Came second place.
So yeah, like Brook Lopez has a valid resume to be in the Hall of Fame. So I feel like he should really think about retiring and right now taking the easy.
Okay. So credit to Nick Wright at the What's Right show. Hold on, let me make sure that's the right name. What's Right show and the volume. Right. This is where this question comes from. Right. The question is Kevin Durant top 10 all time? I'm gonna try and play this audio into my microphone because I don't know how to really get videos up here. But like I said, credit to them. That's who's talking, Nick Wright, and his show and his podcast. And we're gonna give our thoughts and opinions on this. And you guys let me know because I have a player or two in mind, and I want to ask y'all how do you guys feel about this. So I'm gonna play it now. Hold on. Let me know if you guys can hear it.
Anyone who calls Kevin Durant a top 10 player, if they put pencil to paper, they would be like, oh, damn, turns out he's not. LeBron, Kareem, Michael, those not only, in my opinion, have to be in your top 10, they have to be in your top 3, but that is an opinion. Magic, Duncan, Kobe. Does anybody think Kevin Durant's better than Kobe Bryant? I don't think Kevin Durant thinks Kevin Durant's better than Kobe Bryant. Larry Bird. There are going to be a bunch of children. What could Larry Bird do that Kevin Durant can't do? Bird is actually one of the best passers in league history. Shaq, Steph. We are at 9. There is one spot available. You have to say he is better than Joker. He is better than Giannis. He is better than Hakeem. He is better than Russell, Wilt, West, Oscar. You don't actually think that. You might think he's better than a couple of those guys. There is no chance you think he's better than all of them.
Okay, so that is Nick Wright. I don't know what they were talking about, but obviously top 10 player of all time. So my question to Dom, right? I'll start with you. Is Kevin Durant in? Well, he probably isn't in your top 10, but do you think he's a top 10 basketball player of all time?
Nah. There's a lot of like when you put accolades and skill sets together. Yeah, I don't think so. He's definitely I could say like top. He's not far off the list, but he's not top 10.
How about you, Gary?
No, but I would say he's definitely better than Giannis off the skill wise, not accolades. Like you said, Dom. So don't try to bandwagon now. Skill wise, KD.
Let me look at the accolades. Go ahead.
Skill wise, KD is better than Giannis. So I will put KD over Giannis, but over Jokic at 10, no.
So
You'll put KD over Giannis just off the skill alone?
Yeah, skill wise alone.
okay. So my take on this, right? Because the other day I seen shout out to Brett Usher on YouTube. I'm not YouTube, Twitter. Shout out Brett Usher. I seen a Kevin Durant compilation, or was it TikTok? It was one of the two. It was Kevin Durant video somewhere. I some way somehow was like, yeah, Kevin Durant has to be a top 10 basketball player of all time. Like just watching him play and how consistent he is and how he does what he does, he has to be, right? But when you say the name Jokic, if they was to both call it quits today, who ranks higher all time?
Jokic.
Wow.
And this you said this is between KD and Jokic, right?
I mean, you could also throw Giannis. If we want to talk about the collective of, excuse me, if you want to talk about the collective of the three, because they're still playing today. If you want to talk about them three, Jokic, Giannis, KD, who ranks higher all time, I think if you want to put skill accolades into it, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I think Jokic might be the best out of the three.
I would unfortunately have to agree. Uh, because only because he has what 3 MVPs at this point, right?
Fighting for 4 right now.
Yeah, yeah.
He's
So
top
it
he's
would
top
be
5
Jokic.
in like 6 to 7 categories.
If Giannis can get another ring on him, that'll help my case. But until then, I just gotta say it's Jokic. Jokic got
Yeah,
it. Then it's Giannis again.
Giannis got a back-to-back MVP. He has a DPOI. He has a Finals MVP. Giannis ain't no scrub when it comes to the accolades. The skill side,
He's not.
he might be a scrub. Might be, just saying. But his accolades stand for themselves. He
It
has a
does.
most improved, Finals MVP, a regular MVP, back to back, 5-time All Defense, 8-time All NBA, 9-time All Star, a champion, 2013-14 All Rookie Team, 75th anniversary team. Even though I don't think that matters, he was the All Star Game MVP. I don't think that matters. I'm surprised he wasn't on the. Oh yeah, DPOY. Yeah. He's on DPOY. You know what I'm saying? So Giannis ain't no scrub when it comes to the accolade side. I think he has more accolades than Jokic, to be honest. Jokic, hold on. Jokic is a 7-time All Star, a champion, All Rookie Team. Even though this just came in, but it's on his accolades. A Western Conference Finals MVP, a Finals MVP, 3-time MVP, 6-time All NBA. So KD probably has the most accolades because he's played the longest. But when you look at Jokic, if Jokic gets 4 MVPs, right? Now let's just some way somehow that means he's already all NBA first team already. So that goes to Jokic again. It's looking very murky for KD. Because
It
KD is
does.
a 15-time All-Star. He's a 4-time scoring champ, 11-time All-NBA, Rookie of the Year, MVP, 75th anniversary team, 2 times Final MVP, 2-time All-Star MVP, All-Rookie team, and a 2-time champion. Champion. I know people like to discredit his championships because how he did it. It's still on his resume. He's a champion.
He would have had 3, but
So, all right, here you go. That's between you and Dom. But what who do you have in the top 10 over KD? Like, who's your number 10?
I don't know if it would be Jokic for me, but I mean
No, it don't have to be Jokic. I'm just asking, like, who
okay.
you think is a top 10 player? Like, when you combine skill and accolades, like, who's your number 10? I know a lot of people put Hakeem in that 10 spot. Hakeem is always in that 8 to 10 realm. I think Larry Bird dropped out of my top 10 for Steph. I think Steph is at 10 for me, or 9 or 10. He's at 9 or 10 for me. It's between Steph and Hakeem for 9 and 10 for me personally.
I feel that.
Yeah, me too.
Like, if I'm gonna be completely honest, if the Warriors win the championship this year, not only does that put Steph in the top 10, undebatable. I'm not debating with nobody about Stephen Curry being a top 10 player. But he'll arguably be a top 5 player to me. Arguably. Talking about 5 rings, 2 MVPs. 9 times out of 10, he'll be a finals MVP. Unless they give it to Jimmy or Draymond, whoever. Be a 2-time finals MVP. The first unanimous MVP. He's still playing at an elite level at, 35, 36 years old? If you give him a little bit of help and you see what the Warriors are doing. They beat the Bucks without Steph yesterday. You know what I'm saying? They lost to the Nuggets, though, with Steph. But that's, people have bad games. But you see what happens when you give them a little bit of help. So if they were to win the championship this year, it will be some uncomfortable conversations. I think personally he will be in that Kobe conversation. You would have to debate him and Kobe, who's actually better at basketball.
Yeah, that would be pretty fun. I think you would still have to get at the Kobe for the two-way for the two-way aspect.
See, that's the thing. Certain situations call for certain things, right? You could go longevity, which is why you can't go Kobe. Kobe, he played for a while, but after that Warriors game where he tore his Achilles, he wasn't the same. And he just played 5 more years after that, or 3 more years, 4 more years after that. He missed the playoffs. He choked the 3-1 lead, I believe. They both did, but, you know, Steph at some point would have to be better for longer than Kobe. At some point. I think Steph is in what year?
That's a good question. Probably like year 11.
He's in year 16. Kobe played 20 years.
You gaining on them, man.
The reason why I say Steph Curry would be in the Kobe conversation because Kobe is arguably a top 5 player to some people. To me personally, I think for me, I'm one of those where Kobe's in my top 3, but Kobe's always to me been a top 5 player, top 3 debatable. Is always to me has been Jordan, Braun, Kareem, and Kobe. That's been my top 4. Tim Duncan just overpassed Shaq. No, I think Shaq is top 5 and Duncan's number 6. But Kobe's always been in that realm. I always say between him and LeBron for me it's a day-to-day basis. Like some days I'll see Kobe, I'll be like, yo, he was something different. Then I'll go turn on the Lakers game and LeBron is out there dropping 35 with 8 rebounds and 9 assists. I say, yeah, nah, this guy's crazy. So it's always a toss-up for me. But when you compare the two, Steph and Kobe, I think if Curry gets a 5th ring and if he does it in a fact, remember, they're not supposed to make the finals this year. Nobody had them going that far. If they actually do it, it's one of those like 2022 when nobody had them winning that championship. The fourth one put him in that conversation, the top 10. He's already top 10. If you give him 5 rings, he's no debate a top 10 player. Because how do you have? First of all, it's crazy that he has 4 rings and you have to argue him into the top 10. It's crazy to me. Nobody in the top 10, right, has 4 rings as a number 1 option, and is as dangerous as Steph Curry is. Steph Curry is probably the most dangerous basketball player to ever walk on the court, and I mean that. Probably the most dangerous player to ever walk on the court. You can't leave him alone on the court. You have to stay glued to him.
Yeah, when I think about them MVP, I had to think about it, and then I flash back to them MVP years, and I'm like, oh hell yeah, that's true, that's true.
Yeah, he's dangerous, bro.
Like at all, that's crazy. The moment he crossed half court, people had to press him. Wow,
exactly. And you want to argue him into the top 10 with 4 rings. It's not like because everybody said he needed KD. You see what he did? He had Andrew Wiggins, and he won a chip. He beat Jokic, he beat Luka, he beat I'm forgetting somebody, but he beat them too, and he beat Tatum. All the newcomers, he spanked them. Right?
Yeah.
So now you telling me you giving him 5 rings, and you still want to argue? At that point, he's better than Magic. And if Magic in your top 5, bump him down. He would have more rings than Shaq. He's at some point, you got to think he's more dominant than Shaq. At some point, Shaq was dominant on the court, but when you want to talk about dominating an era and a generation, Steph is dominance. If you give him 5 rings.
I want to fight so bad on that Magic point, but I really can't. I really wouldn't be able to. I just really appreciate the fact that Magic literally did it all, like at every position, like LeBron did. Like pause, but
he did.
But that. It's hard to argue against Steph being able to accomplish something like that if that is the case. It's a strong possibility, that's a strong hypothetical though, with all the teams we have coming into this season. that's fighting for it, like Cleveland, Boston, the Thunder, and honestly, I think the Rockets may be a pretty good dark horse. Where are they sitting at on this season?
I know. Okay, so when it comes to dominance, Michael Jordan is probably the pinnacle of that. When you come talking about dominating a generation or an era,
yeah,
Steph is right behind him though. Steph since 2013 been giving people hell. He's been giving people hell on the court since 2013. Ain't nobody want to see Steph. Nobody got the cardiovascular system to guard Steph. Ain't nobody doing it. Some people, they do a good job on him, but you cannot leave Steph Curry alone. He has blown the three-point record out the water. Will it
4,000.
be caught? Maybe. 4,000 threes in a career. He scored 12,000 out of his... How many points does Steph have in his career? Out of his whole career, he has 25,000 points. About half of that is three-pointers.
Yeah. That is crazy. That is crazy to put in perspective. Hold on. So you said 25,000, right?
He's at 25,000. Let me get it exact. 25,100 points for his career.
How many threes made is he at?
He's at 4,008 threes. So about 12,000 and 12,000. What's 3 times 8? 24 points. 12,024 points.
Damn.
If my math is correct.
That's
out of straight threes.
That's for like 40%, 40% of his points, or
roughly 40, 45 in that area, somewhere in that. It's not too far.
He set the blueprint for somebody in the next generation to definitely come through and try to break it. We might see that one stand for a long time. It might be one of them Wilt records it might be one of them Wilt records that we might not see touched in our lifetime. I ain't gonna lie.
And Steph has no signs of slowing down. He's regressed a little bit. He dropped to 24 points, but he's still Steph Curry. You see that what the Warriors been doing since they got Jimmy. So it ain't like you just need to give him something to where he's not doing everything.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. You give Steph Curry 5 rings. Undebatable top 10 player. What player would have 5 rings as a number 1 option and is not top 10? In what world? He would have more than Larry. He'd have more than Hakeem. He'd have more than Shaq. He'd have more than... He'll have the same amount as Kobe and Tim Duncan. And they in top 10.
You still have people trying to argue you down about Kevin Durant winning them Finals MVPs, though. They'll be like, "What?
We don't give a damn about Kevin Durant Finals MVPs."
Two of those rings weren't his alone. Like, or not his alone, but his as a first option. To this day, people still argue that. I don't see the wisdom in that. So, but yeah, like I say, it's a strong possibility if the Warriors keep building a better roster around him for one more run. Then hell, that is gonna be undeniable. That probably, like you said, I'll probably shoot him to the greatest point guard of all time. If not, probably, I think it will. Just as a matter of fact, yeah, I think I'm pretty sure it will. Shoot him up there past Magic, and you know how I feel about him past Kuzi, all of them.
Yeah, like, you know, what's it called? My fault. I'm sending a text, but Scottie Pippen isn't a top 10 player because he had Mike. He wasn't a number 1. KD was a number 1, but not on a championship team. He was a number 1 scorer, but he wasn't a number 1 option. There's a difference. He scored the most because the number 1 option was being double teamed on the other side of the court. So he's playing in single coverage while one player is playing in double teams, and he's still giving you 27 points a game.
I also want to thank Brett Usher again, by the way. Endless thanks to you, bro. We love your clips. Dude, we I think had a few conversations on the pod about Kyrie, the Kyrie versus Curry handle debate, and how sometimes it would feel like that debate wasn't as close as it seemed, but when you go back in those in that time,
2014-15.
It was so much closer than you would think.
Steph had that twitch to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kyrie still had it, but it wasn't by much.
Yeah.
It was like 1 and 2.
Well, it was like 1A, 1B, like almost not even 1A, 1-2, or 1-2 or 1 and 2.
Yeah, but yeah, bro. Steph gave you 62 points. You know what I'm saying? Steph dropped 60. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things that he did, and then you can't tell me there's no player that has 4 rings as the number 1 option that's not a top 10 player. That's what I'm saying. The players that's in the realm of like 50, people don't count Bill Russell because of his era, but we all know that he definitely, if you don't discredit his era and what he did, he would be top 10. So therefore, he has an argument. Will he just only had 2 rings? Jerry West, I think, only had 2 rings. There's certain players that's in that 11 to 20 range. None of them have 4 rings. Maybe like Dwayne Wade might be in there. Dwayne Wade to me is top 25. I don't think he's top 20, but he got what, 3? He got 3 rings, and he was only the number 1 for like one of them. Honestly, you know, LeBron was technically the number 1 on the last 2. So that's what bumps Dwayne Wade up a little bit. Dwayne Wade could be arguably in the 11 to 20 range. I'm just saying a broad spectrum of, for me, he's top 25. I'm not arguing. You can't tell me there's 25 players better than Dwayne Wade. Sorry. Well, one day we'll all pick a side and we'll have to have that James Harden Dwayne Wade debate. I know that's a crazy debate, but we're gonna have that conversation.
James Harden will have to get some hardware on him for that.
On. But yeah. But let's keep it trill here, because Curry's better than Iverson. We know that. If Iverson had a ring, he might be higher on the all-time spectrum or the all-time list, whatever. But give Steph Curry 5 rings. He's already arguably the greatest point guard, because he'll be in the realm of Magic, Kobe, Duncan, players with 5 rings. Shaq would probably be bumped down because Shaq only has 4. And Shaq's last one, he was a second option. Right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't see Steph winning 2 more rings. But if Steph gets 6, he's definitely in that damn top 3 conversation of all time.
100%.
And you got to remember, everybody said this was LeBron's era. How could it be somebody else's era when somebody else is winning all the hardware in that era? From 2010 to 2020, Steph Curry had the same amount of rings and the same amount of MVPs as LeBron James. No, I'm lying. He had 1 less. He had 3 MVPs. I think Steph got what? 3 MVPs? 2 MVPs. I mean, 3 rings. 3 rings. Sorry. Same amount of rings. That's what I meant to say. He had the same amount of rings as LeBron. And he could have had 6 rings. He went from 2015 to 2020. No, that's 5 years. He could have 5 rings.
I guess you can't really share an era, huh? When I think about it, it's just like the Cavs and the Warriors era, man. It was to the point where I almost thought I would stop watching the NBA because, like, it's like going into the season, you knew who was going to be in the finals every single year, and I was what 4 straight? It was like 3 straight finals, or 2 straight.
2015, 16, 17, 18, 4 years.
4 years of the same two teams in the finals, like.
And LeBron was in the Western Conference in 2019.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. People gotta start seeing what Steph is doing, bro. I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm the biggest Steph fan, but I definitely respect Steph crazy. Like, he one of them players that I used to dislike him, but I only disliked him because of his fan base. The same reason why I dislike LeBron. But I'm not the biggest LeBron fan. But I won't let anybody come up here and start talking nonsense about LeBron, because you have to understand what LeBron is doing. Like, honest to God. These with Steph, LeBron, and even though we kind of bashed him a little bit, Kevin Durant, what they are doing is unheard of, bro. You know what I'm saying? LeBron James, this is why when they try to compare and do all this nonsense, I don't go for that, bro. Now, so we all said no to Kevin Durant being a top 10 player, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I think Dom is having connection issues. I don't know. Dom, are you here? I think he's having connection issues. So, just so... speaking on Dallas, real quick, because I know they're playing right now. Does Kyrie come back better or the same at least, being that he's 34 with a ACL injury?
I feel like he comes back the same. I feel like he comes back the same, just with like a better just with better like a better shot selection. Like he's not gonna drop to the pan as much as he did before.
Yeah.
Like that's what I think.
I think he probably loses a step. Because remember, Kyrie's game is based off his legs. Like
Yeah,
his speed, him getting to the rim. Obviously, he could shoot. I'm not sitting there saying Kyrie can't shoot, but like when you tear ACL at that age, you ain't gonna be as fast anymore.
that's true.
His footwork gonna have to be impeccable. Like post work, all that.
That's true.
Yeah, like and AD is. But this is why I'm saying this is not even to bring it back up, but this is why I said it was a loss for Dallas. Kyrie and AD, you want them to win a ring. You cannot overlook the injury history of these guys at these positions. Kyrie as the number one, injured. AD as the number one, injured. AD in the past 5 years since putting on weight, injured. You combine the two, you get injuries. I said that, everybody overlooked it, and now injuries. Now you want them to come back and be the same Dallas team to win a chip, but this is already a loss. I think instead of them saying they wanted to win now, they just said we didn't want to pay Luka Doncic $70 million a year. You cannot excuse trading a franchise player for injury-prone player. I get it how good Anthony Davis is. I'm an advocate for Anthony Davis. I believe he should have an MVP in his hardware case. He doesn't. But you don't do things like that, bro. You don't trade a Luka Doncic, bro. You just don't. No matter what you say, his defense or whatever, tell Jason Kidd change his defensive scheme. It's not gonna work. That's just my opinion on it. Dom, what the last thing I said before you had got cut off was, does Kyrie come back the same or does he come back different? Because I said, I think he loses a step because he's like 33, 34. I could be wrong at his age. I think let me look that up because I am the fact checker here. So let me double check.
34. He came in the league like about 2 years before EMBIID, right? 2-3 years.
2012. He is 32 years old. So I was wrong.
Wow, that's young. He must have came in at 19.
So if I'm being honest, I say Kyrie loses a step because you're in your 30s and you tear your ACL at that age, you ain't gonna be as quick.
It was just an Achilles, right?
No, it was ACL. My fault. ACL.
ACL. Okay.
ACL, and his game is predicated on his quickness and his footwork, so to say. Like he could shoot. I'm not saying Kyrie can't shoot. That's what I'm not making it sound like he's Westbrook, but the way his game is predicated on, he uses his legs a lot, like finishing, floaters, all that stuff. I do think he loses a step. How do you feel about Kyrie? And this is the last point before we close out the show.
I was actually going to say that I feel like he's going to come back a lot, pretty much the same. Like you say, some things maybe a little bit slow or something. I wouldn't say slower. He'll probably just have to take some things out the arsenal. He probably won't be able to be as creative as he used to be with his finishes because with those finishes, he was still able to get up. That probably won't be happening as much anymore. His first step should be there because that's more of like an Achilles thing. More than anything, and I just think like sports medicine is like advanced, like pretty good enough for Achilles to not be like not Achilles but the ACL to be as doom and gloom as it used to be. So yeah, I think he'll come back probably relatively the same.
Okay,
it just might be a bit of an adjustment for him to kind of come back and work through some things that he might not be able to do as effectively anymore.
All right, bet. With that being said, this is episode 26 of the Eye Test podcast. I'm Z. That's Gary. That's Dom. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, share our TikToks, share our Instagram reels, follow us. Fill out our guest form if you want to come up on the show and debate any topics with us, any points you have seen, debate anything with us. Just make sure you have your notes and your points, because like my name says here, I am the fact checker. I will check these facts that you bring up here. But other than that, you can find us on Apple, soon to be Spotify, but you can find us on Apple, YouTube. You can find us on TikTok. You can find us on
Absolutely.
Instagram. We are here to shed light on the basketball world. You know, big things are coming for us. Keep subscribing. Thank you for everybody that subscribed. We appreciate it. And we shall see y'all on episode 27. Do you guys have anything else to add before we get up out of here?
Those guest forms you can find directly on our Instagram bios. Swing by any one of our pages and check it out. And like Z says, just fill it out. And next thing you know, we'll have you up here, probably roasting your takes. Nah, I'm just, but just take the time, fill it out, and we'll definitely be getting, trying to get back to as many of y'all as we can.
For sure. Gary, got anything?
If you come up here as a guest and your favorite player is not better than Kyrie Irving, just know I'm gonna let you know that.
So yes, please like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch y'all on the next one. God bless.